First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakakadash, double honors to the elders of the apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth. And shout out to Yakim that's out there in the four quarters of the earth, going into the cities and proclaiming this truth, declaring to the whole world that blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and the confusion of faith that be among us, that we are the real Hebrew Israelites, unlike those fake Amalekites out there. Well, they're really Amalekites, but claim themselves to be Jews, which they are not, but rather the synagogue of Satan, meaning that they are our adversary, and they're the ones that are bringing forth this mark, through Donald J. Trump, who is a holding company of the Rothschilds, who are Amalek. So anyhow, and this, the mark is here. The mark of the beast is already here, and is already being implemented, just as we had already foreshadowed, what we have already prophesied would happen under Donald J. Trump, that, to make everyone register to prove that they are a U.S. citizen. Well, that's already happening now. They are now putting tracking chips into children, and pretty much to anyone to prove that they're legal. They're taking these children off to the FEMA camps, and they're taking their parents away to FEMA camps and chipping them. Ultimately, so that way they can never come back. Or if they come back, they can track and chip them and deport them. So it starts there. And of course, this is not going to be covered in the mainstream, but we know what's going on. We've been prophesying this for years. And eventually that's going to come to all 12 tribes. But it's happening mostly to the original 10 tribes. That be among, that were here first, the Northern Kingdom. So it's already happening. So the time for us to come out here and warn against it, when the Bible has to be registered as a lethal weapon here in Fuck State, California, by that piece of shit Jerry Brown, another holding company, because, statesmen and all this are just holding companies for the Rothschilds. So, they made it, now you have to register as a lethal weapon. And so, the time for us to come out and prophesy, well, soon it'll be illegal, just like in the book of Eli. The word is going to have to be written in our hearts, We're going to have to know this word, so, now's the time to get right. But the gates of mercy are slowly beginning to close as, pretty much we can't warn about something if it's already happening anymore, Our people are being locked up now and being put in FEMA camps and being chipped, forced microchipped. So I'm going to read out of Revelation chapter 14, verse 6. And I saw an angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. And that's what we're doing right now, trying to warn our people what's to come. And our time to be able to warn is about saying with a loud voice, fear Yahweh and give glory unto him. For the hour of the judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and the earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. And so that's what we're doing. We're also prophesying this. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all the nations drink the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Well, that's what we're doing now. We're prophesying against Mount Seir. We're prophesying against this place, America, Babylon the Great, for all of its wickedness, its treacheries. And we're letting you know it's a fallen kingdom. It no longer has the power that it once had. It is losing its grip. It's losing the war in the Middle East. It's losing its power to dictate to nations. So what are they doing? They're raising tariffs, because that's the last Trump. Pretty much Donald J. Trump is the last Trump. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, that is the power structure of Esau, the so-called white man, and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, I was talking about RFID implant, the same shall drink of the water of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured without mixture, into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And of course, that's, coming when Yahweh, through Yahushai, comes down to judge this place, First, we get beamed up on the chariots, the elect, the 1/3, and then we come to judge all those that have taken this mark. and worship this system, worship Esau, the so-called white man. And the smoke of the torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. And we know that that's happening now, that people are receiving the mark of his name. You know, they have that mark, that seal, that chip inside of them. And, you know, they want everything, you know, that's, you know, I can't understand why anybody would want to come to this shithole to begin with. You know, especially after Donald J. Trump made that insult and said, why are we allowing these people to come in from shithole countries? You know, which was really directed towards the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, you know, because that's what he calls shithole kingdoms, which are still ruled by Esau, so-called white men, because we don't have our kingdom as of yet. We have not received our kingdom, because the only time we can receive our kingdom is when Esau is taken out of his. And we're going to take the kingdom from Esau. And that's what them holy angels are. When we get beamed up in them chips and we judge this place, you know, and we see everything, and we're going to see the smoke of their torment ascendeth up. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord. That is, those that had to die refusing this mark. From henceforth, yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And that's for those of us who also proclaim this truth until we can no longer do so, who got rounded up and murdered, you know, by Esau, the so-called white man. And I looked up, and behold, a white cloud. It's talking about the chariots. And upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. You know, and that's when Yahushua is judging this place. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So it's time for him to judge this place, to kill everyone that were partakers in Babylon the Great, you know, and had their part. Another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. You know, and so they're ripe now. So it's just a matter of time that Yahushua is going to come back, you know, because this mark of the beast, you know, it's happening. It's happening right now, and eventually will happen to all 12 tribes. But we prophesied that Donald J. Trump was going to come hard on all 12 tribes, and it's happening now. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and is cast into the great winepress of the wrath of Yahweh. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the house bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. So that's talking about when the United States, America, Babylon the Great is judged for all of its wickedness. You know, we can see that it's getting exposed all the time. You know, this false narrative that they're fighting a war on ISIS when they're the ones that are supporting ISIS and controlling ISIS to do their dirty work and getting ready to set up another false flag, but yet it's being reported that they're getting ready for another false flag to blame Bashar al-Assad, to say that he's gassing his own people, when in fact the gas-killing animal is Donald J. Trump himself, them chemtrails that he's putting in the air, the poison in the food that we eat. And it's in the water that we drink. They're putting fluoride in the water. Who does this? Donald J. Trump. You know, the holding company of the Rothschilds. Esau, the so-called white man, the devil that he is poisoning our food and our air and our water. You know, so he can control the masses. And ultimately putting chips into people, saying that, well, to prove that you're not illegal, you're going to have to take this chip. And it's happening now. So we can no longer warn about that because it's already happening. The only thing we can warn about now is that it's going to come to all 12 tribes. You know, they're going to crash the economy and make it mandatory that you take this chip, that you can't buy, sell, or trade unless you should get this chip, you know, to be able to buy, sell, or trade, you know, and it's happening. You know, pretty much a lot of people have already signed up for this. It's in Europe, it's in all these countries. They're taking the chip, pretty much. They want to be controlled by Esau, you know, because pretty much, you know, they've gotten rid of the money systems. They've totally gone cashless. So, you know, and you can go to Chase, you can see it, that it says cardless, and it shows the symbol of a hand. You know, pretty much money's being eliminated. And who controls the money system? This fiat system. The Rothschilds, Amalek, those fake-ass Jews. You know, they're the ones that are controlling everything, if you will, the greedy 1%, which Donald J. Trump is the holding company of. Because everybody knows that he was bailed out years ago, because his fucking ass was fucking broke. You know, he made very bad investments, because he thought he'd invest in oil, you know. And the Rothschilds bailed him out, so he's always on their nutsack, pretty much. And everybody thought that he had won, you know, because Hillary Clinton was beaten. Well, the truth is that's who they wanted him to begin with, because he's been on their nutsack ever since. But he made everybody believe that he was a part of the alternative media. Alex Jones made everybody believe in him. So did the rest. And they're all now trying to sell you the idea that, oh, well, he's just being compromised. He's always been on that nutsack. But he's a part of it. He's a big-time part of it. Because he is a part of the devil. The devil is Esau, the so-called white man, who lies. He lies about everything. Every treaty he's made, he has broken. Pretty much. You make a deal with him, they're going to renege. Look at what happened on Iran. Iran totally complied with that, and what happened? That piece of shit, Donald Trump, fucking reneged on it. Because who is he? Who is Donald J. Trump? The holding company of the Rothschilds. And you can't make a deal with this devil. He doesn't feel pity or pain or remorse, and he will not stop ever until you are dead. And that's what he wants to do. That's why he wants to put the microchip into everyone. So that way you will die. You will receive that judgment. As he's about to receive his judgment. Them chariots are coming. Yahushua is coming back to judge this earth. And for all that were partakers in Babylon the Great. So I hope this has been edifying, and go out and proclaim this truth while you still have time to do so. Shalom.